All this meeting in order, you.
What's that?
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm just
Oh,
ready to stand up.
sorry. What's
I allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
called, he feels bad that he can't be here, but he's got meetings down by, and I totally understand. So let's take a look at the agenda and approve. It needs to be approved.
I move we approve the agenda.
A second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Now we'll look at our previous minutes. Approve them.
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
And moved and seconded to approve our minutes. Any discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Minutes are approved. Opening remarks. By our zoning administrator, Laura.
Not much this week. I didn't, get to changing the formatting with the numbering, so it's, the same version you guys we're looking at last week for the ordinance. I did pass out the Butler County draft. I can't remember if that was something one of you suggested or something I thought you should look at when you get a chance, but I had it in the file to bring from a while ago, so you have the Butler County one to look at. I know Jody brought the Lynn County one. I don't have copies of that though, so if she brings up anything, we'll have to search for that. I don't have any other comments.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, you guys are sitting over there.
We got demoted.
We've been bad, we got some little chairs.
So much for our dreams.
Yeah.
We've been told we can't sit at the desk anymore. Pardon? We told her.
So Laura, we ended up at page 17 or 18 last meeting. I believe it was 17.
Before we get that far, I did find a discrepancy on page 13.
That's what I was gonna ask you. We just back up to,
Let's fix that, because it says 1 mile, but the number is 2. So I didn't know which way you were going. I couldn't remember. I couldn't find it in the videos.
hey, which one? 13?
There's 2 in a row, public recreation area and public conservation area. It says 1 and in parentheses 2.
I think we changed it to 2, didn't we?
Yeah.
Residential district. And it's probably just my mistake of not changing the word.
I just couldn't remember which way you went, so we want that to be 2.
Yeah, I got that. Okay.
I'll make a note also, but if you.
That's what I got in my notes.
Did you have the residential district boundaries changed to 2 miles?
Hang on.
Yes. That was just, the 2 that I mentioned were the only ones that had discrepancy within the list itself.
Well, do we want to just go back to where she's?
Well, there were a couple things like defining zoning certificate, that's on me, and we can do that later.
Right.
You guys had something on page 6 that wasn't decided, you could come, I'd say probably go back to that later, push ahead and do what you can. And then we can go back.
Okay.
You wanna clean it up first?
You guys can do whatever you want,
Fix the issue, zoning certificate.
well, I need to add that, I need to add some definitions,
Oh.
so stuff like that, it's not really.
So on 6 is not really anything we need to worry about.
Well, page 6 is the one that said if the zoning certificate's been applied for within 18 months, From the date of issuance of the conditional use permit, the conditional use permit shall be automatically revoked without further action by the county. In such event, no work on the project may take place unless and until a new conditional use permit is issued. And any portion of the project then completed shall be deemed a discontinued use. Carol, you added a note that said it wasn't decided yet, so that's why that's still highlighted there.
I don't know.
We were changing permit to cup. But I got in my notes.
Well, I didn't know if you guys were okay with that, right, that wording, or if you just wanna sit
I
on,
wonder
come
if
back at
that,
the final.
and I wonder if that got left over. I think that definition sounded really good.
When I do the pre-formatting version, I will take out our little side comments, Carol, but, I will leave it for you guys when we do our review.
So I
I
wonder
can
if I,
come back to that one in case we decide you wanna reword it.
okay, I don't, I think it might have just been, I left that in there, and I shouldn't have left it in there, like we hadn't decided it before we got it. I'm not sure.
And did we do page 12 then? And then you got a couple there.
You guys,
Those are definitions.
those are just definitions to add.
All right,
So I think otherwise you guys were up to, what did you say, 17?
18.
yes.
Laura, on page 16, did you hear anything from Worth County? Okay,
And, I think I needed to start talking to their, chairman of the zoning board instead of their zoning admin, so,
okay.
Jody had reached out also, and I don't know if you've gotten anything back, right, Jody? Just that we need to talk to somebody else from Worth County,
From work?
Yeah.
What did it say?
just to talk to the other guy, right?
You get it back to me. As for the correct question related to permit authority, that was a specific point of discussion during the development, and we determined that as long as everything was per the ordinance, that the supervisor should be the ones to approve the permit. Note that this is a separate ordinance from our zoning ordinance, but is intended to be complementary to the zoning ordinance. Note also that we included strict language that must be followed in order to grant approval. Like our zoning ordinance, we strive to specify what is required for permits so as to provide clear and upfront guidance to all concerned. We did not want to leave much to chance, as would be in the case if decisions were left solely to the Board of Adjustment conditional permits. The ordinance does, however, include the ability for certain variances and waivers that must be approved by the Board of Adjustment. And if we have any other questions, he would be happy to discuss that. And any other question that I have is phone number.
So that sounds to me like the reason they put in the beginning that it would be approved by the supervisors.
Yeah.
Is because that would be just so the zoning administrator, it's not on them.
Yep.
But they need all their waivers and variances before it goes to,
It still has to go through the Board of Adjustment to have all their waivers and stuff.
I didn't read that in here though. Like,
Here's the phone number if you want it.
keyboard that,
Did I? Okay.
could you? I don't think you have it.
That's that Jeff.
Is what? Yeah, that Jeff, 641.
Don't read it out loud, don't read it out loud.
Oh, and everybody's got it.
Well, they don't know the rest of it.
Yeah,
So,
that's why I stopped you. Go, you can go show them.
good point.
So if we want to go that route with final decision, matching that with final decision being the supervisors, I think we need to add a little more says that, because as I was reading this, I didn't totally get that you still need to go through the BOE first and then final decision. It just sounded, from the beginning, it sounded like approvals by the supervisors. So,
Final approval maybe, or?
I mean, that would be something you guys should read through on your own and kind of each come to the table with something. It's not like a 2-hour discussion on just that point on. Think about it, sit on it while you're harvesting or dealing with kids and.
We'll go back to waivers on middle of page 18, right? Forge ahead.
I had added that note because we don't currently have any waiver terms in our other ordinance. as far as what goes through the Board of Adjustments, so I think you would just need a little clarity if you want to include waiver options. If you want to charge for a waiver,
It should be a fee for a waiver.
right, but we don't have it listed anywhere else because we don't have waivers in our main ordinance, so it would have to be in here that says a waiver request in front of the BOA cost blank in line with, in line with other fees with the Board of Adjustment.
That feeding thing.
200 to 250.
Because it hasn't been approved from public hearing, but you guys just, recommended to have 200 per, variance and conditional use permit request. So I would say probably keep it in line with 200.
Yeah, 200 be fine. I think so. It's enough.
In our definitions, if we go back
Fine.
to our definition of waiver, you got it listed as a county zoning board of adjustment.
Yeah, it's the zoning board of adjustment is the BOA. You guys are the zoning commission. They're the zoning board of adjustment,
Gotcha.
which is confusing as all heck, but that's their official term, and so it could be their official name.
Got it.
Is that who you wanted to go through? BOA, zoning board of adjustment.
Got it. Okay.
We're $200. Got that.
Yes.
Carol, did you find a place to put that?
No,
Okay.
I don't,
Um,
I'm just looking through.
I don't know the best place to put it. If you want to just throw a note at the end of the whole ordinance that says, Laura, find a place to put this, and then put your wording, I can find a place to put it.
Should it be right after your purple highlight, right on after your waivers?
On what page?
Back
18
18.
Right where you're talking about.
or,
18 at the end of the page.
how about sending waiver prevent terms? What if we make it, what if we make it a letter G at the end of the waiver section?
Waivers.
B, C,
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
G. So it should either be F, like indent one, or we can make it G on its own, either one.
I'll leave it G for now, and then I'll just, it's gonna be highlighted anyway, and if you think it, if you format it back, it's better. All right, so how are we saying this?
Request for waiver,
That's through.
or if you wanna make it an application for waiver, they can come up, they can have a actual application to fill out, then you can have your reason for wanting a waiver.
Okay, so applications for waivers.
Applications for waivers need to be submitted along with a $200 application fees at the time of submittal.
Yeah, because they need to understand that just because they paid the $200, they don't automatically get the waiver. So it has to be.
Okay,
Good point.
It's now with a $200.
and that you have to pay it even if you don't get the waiver.
Yeah, even if it's not.
It's to cover the cost of the public notice and the mileage.
Do I need to put that in to cover the cost so they know?
Nope, you can just put if anybody asks you, that's why.
Okay, but then but should I put in there, this is not a,
Non-refundable.
it's not an indication of.
It's not a guarantee of approval. Application fee is not a guarantee of approval.
Yeah,
Or not? Do we need to put a non-refundable application fee? Is not a guarantee of approval?
Or no.
I think better
Or
not.
that kind of redundant?
That's kind of redundant.
Yeah.
Do we need to put in non-refundable or we just,
You can just say,
Keeps that.
okay,
The fee.
application for a waiver does not give the,
Guarantee of approval.
I'm going to highlight this. Okay,
That's what we're gonna do, is
Pardon me?
we the third time through this now?
Once. Yeah, I think so.
I think,
just the first section, we haven't made it out of the first section.
this is multiple times, I think.
We got our setback requirements on page 13. Already done. But now what are these setbacks? These are for in case of a waiver. Why are we? Maybe.
Well, A says before the highlight part says the setback specified previously may be reduced via approved waiver to the extent defined below. So they can't go past that percentage. Does that make sense?
Can't be any less than what the.
Yes. Even with the waiver. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, so numbers,
I think so.
Oh, okay, back to
I
the
put right underneath it.
waiver request, guys. Do you, since it's going to be a BOA meeting, do you want to specify that a waiver hearing follows the same rules as other Board of Adjustment as far as public notice? Because that would require notifying neighbors, newspaper publication,
Don't you think that'd be right?
mostly the notifying the neighbors.
yes,
But you notify the neighbors within a mile or.
But we do that for variance and cup, so I didn't know if you wanted to specifically say waivers are treated the same as other Board of Adjustment meetings, including notification of neighbors and public notice.
I would think so.
I would think you would.
So,
I would think you would too, but I think you should put that in. the-
okay, so on that same G, after application for waivers need to be submitted with 200 feet. Waivers are. They treated. Are
Subject to,
Good wording.
there we go, are subject to the same,
public notices.
Same parameters as.
same,
Notification parameters.
no,
Sounds like a little legally.
waivers are subject to the same notification parameters.
As other Board of Adjustment hearings.
Do I need to put the
Public.
Tama County zoning board of adjustment or just board of adjustment? Judge,
Tama County Board of Adjustment would probably be more accurate. Make it more fun if anyone ever wants to copy our ordinance, right? Get that all extra Tama County.
okay, so application for waivers need to be submitted with a $200 fee. Waivers are subject to the same notification parameters as other Tama County zoning board of adjustment hearings.
And then you can take out all the purple note that I have.
Okay. Application of waivers is not a guarantee of approval. So the purple up here or the purple down here?
The part where it says need to add info about waiver request and stuff.
Okay.
Sorry, you may move on.
Oh. Okay.
Right. We do have 525.
Yep. It's last meeting.
How many of those units?
We don't know yet, which is why I think, I mean, you already have the line in there that says anything permitted prior to this won't be included. They haven't given us a height.
Great.
But I think, did we say that the ones like, where I'm living are 525?
Where do you live? Oh, we live up north. They're
Or 500? Okay.
like 501.
Ones you want up an hour?
And the Vienna ones are 498, 499.
Did you go up there and measure that?
No. I don't even know if my laser measure will work that direction. I think I'll have to do some geometry, you know. You can't stand right underneath it because it's right.
I'm rolling up, man. They've been busy.
Good question. I know that this won't affect the turbines that are going up now. But is there any reason we can't lower the height for future turbines? Does it have
Well, that's
to be
kind of what you're doing. I mean,
525 feet? Can it be 400 feet? I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm asking. Is that a problem or?
Well, I think the reason they've gotten bigger is that the technology and the efficiency has changed.
They think it's more efficient. I
Yeah.
think
Well, that's what they claim.
that's what they claim. Don't know.
The old bigger is better,
Yeah.
theory.
Okay, another question. If we're gonna limit the total amount to the county, what's gonna happen? We're already gonna be over that limit if two gets into effect. So does that mean if one goes down and is destroyed, they can't replace it?
that's why I added the note that you need that wording if you wanted to.
I think we'll have to come to some agreement with the board of supervisors.
Again, you can recommend whatever you want.
I mean, I recommend 100 and then we go start there.
Deal with the fallout.
And then, and,
Yeah.
I mean, don't you think? I mean,
Yeah,
let's,
But yeah, if you're doing a number that's already over what would be the total if the second one gets approved, because that will get grandfathered in,
Right,
then you would want some wording about, if something gets destroyed or if they,
they are.
when it comes down, that if they're not allowed to build up to replace one, which I don't know if that's legally something you can say.
I don't know, boy, they have a good chance of a lawsuit there and lose.
I don't think we'll have any effect on anything that's
No,
here. I think this would be,
In the future,
But if they completely take them down and rebuild in the same spot as the new project, not be repowering, it'd be like totally rebuilding a new project in 30, 50, whatever years. I mean,
but will they take it down?
Well, the technology comes out, which is gonna happen.
that's why we'll meet every 5 years to update these things.
Yeah.
so I mean, you could even just add wording that says, if it is replacing an act of God where a turbine came down, then that would get wavered in because it was a previously approved something. You could do some wording like that.
We need to.
Well,
I mean, they're just replacing one that already was there, so
right.
I mean,
I
that's
shouldn't have
But
to.
if there are 107 turbines in the county and one gets destroyed and they want to build one, technically I would have to say no because there's already over 100 turbines in the county. They'd go to the BOA and they'd have to do it and that'd be an extra charge for a BOA meeting and extra time for them to meet. So if you want to just say replacing due just destruction by an act of God from pre-existing permitted items,
It's allowed.
that would be a waiver from this total, but, I would make it more like the act of God thing as opposed to they wanna take it down and replace the whole thing.
Right.
You better put act of nature. The rest of us would go with act of God, but you're gonna have to,
Act of nature. There's a term for that.
natural
I
disaster.
mean, it would be fine with me, but
But yeah, so we should keep that
have some throw.
long words.
You could force majeure, that's what they always put in the contracts. That means anything happens.
And make it sound so fancy.
Yes, it does.
What language is that?
French,
Point.
French.
Carol, you wanna spell it?
Mine is a friend is good and.
M-A-N-A-O-U-R would be my guess.
Okay, so,
I don't, let's just, I think
should
we're
we
gonna have
just
to,
leave that for now?
yeah, don't you think, we're gonna have to, the supervisors are gonna read that and say, well.
I don't think
We're gonna
that,
say, well, maybe that's all we need.
I mean,
Well, we could put 107,
Yeah.
and then that covers the ones that are there and does, no more can go up.
We could do that, save a little.
A little wiggle room.
Friction, maybe.
Yeah.
So there's 107 that will be constructed.
Although there's a rumor
Well,
that
we
they said
don't-
they could make bigger ones and cut out 4, so then it'd only be 103.
But then that'll be over the 525 feet, say.
Which
Which they're going to be anyway, because they're
grandfather,
getting grandfathered in.
So,
I'm fine with that. I want something.
Necessarily be grandfathered in if
Yeah.
they're doing a repower.
That's the way. we
Repowering.
on it,
Right.
Whether you.
I mean,
it's on
we're gonna
you
have
if you wanna change it.
Yep.
Define repowering separate.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
That would be down the road.
well, we haven't gotten there yet, but I mean, that's something to think about.
But repowering doesn't include a whole new place here, so that's just
100%.
new.
If we put a limit on the height of the blades, then they can't go with bigger blades. Because it would be a new, yeah, a new application to repower. So they'll be stuck with their 525 foot power limit. Which means their repower will go nowhere. Just saying.
but we are all agreed at 107, we're gonna leave it at, change it to 107 instead of 100, all right?
Sounds good.
Maybe save a little. Friction later on.
Little, I think.
A little.
Problem is if they do drop it down to 103, then they're gonna try to build those extra four somewhere.
Yeah, but we can't be playing around with them all the time either. They don't know what they're gonna do, so how we supposed to know what we're gonna do, right?
They'll probably be dead by the time that's back. But somebody else can do it.
It's fine with 100, you just needed to have that caveat that if something got destroyed by nature, that they could rebuild the one destroyed.
For the same spot. I know the address.
So Carol, you can get rid of that. Okay. Or the purple, we can keep that over.
Okay.
No, I mean, what is the issue with the 911?
When would we make them do it? Would it be upon commencement of construction? Would it be right after they get their cup? Would it be,
Commencement of construction, wouldn't it be? I mean, they don't need a 911 if there's nothing there.
but it may.
They're gonna be there working on it as soon as they get it.
The road goes in and everything else goes in and they'll be working on it, yeah.
I would think since there's a road, there needs to be a,
Something did come up this week. I don't know if we'll have to try to do it in a separate ordinance update or if you wanna incorporate it into this, but the E911 director was talking to me and that project blew his sign budget by like 3 times what he has budget for. And we don't currently charge anyone for the 911 signs. We get it from I don't remember what it's called, stipend or something from the state based on cell phone usage, and they already dropped that amount. And the county dropped their budget, so for everyone, I think he was hoping to like add in fees for a new sign or replacement sign, but if we wanted to add it in specifically for the turbine one,
Make the development company.
Can there be a
They
fee?
pay for it and they, whatever, what's the cost us and then double it.
I'd have to double check. I thought he said $25 just for the sign, but I can double check before our next meeting. It's not like you're voting on it this week, but
Okay, so that would be another fee when they try to file for the company, have a 911 application fee or what?
and if we're going, well, we already do have an E911 ordinance. So I think we'll have to update that, but we can't do multiple ordinances at the same time because you guys, want to focus and get done. But I didn't know if you want to have specifically in here, the E911 sign has a charge. By the time this gets approved and through, I would guess we're already gonna be updating the other 911 ordinance like right after it. We can't charge just for wind and not for people, but since most people have one now, it's all replacing signs or brand new construction.
We can charge for this, commercial, can't we?
I don't know that that'd be fair,
I think it would be fair.
since
It's
we
a
don't,
business
It's a
expense.
business, it's a different, it's, and they're the ones that are gonna have all these addresses out there. It wasn't anybody in the county that did it, and they're gonna, we always wanna remember, who's making all the money on this deal? The Wayne County.
so we
Right,
we couldn't charge the sign because it wasn't in our ordinance either way, and we don't charge everybody
Let's
else.
put it in now.
Yeah, let's put it in.
Cause it's the cost of the sign and the cost of the post. I can get you the actual.
okay, I'm just gonna put a note in here that we're going to we'll have an annual fee that we're waiting to hear.
Okay, sound good? Yeah.
Okay.
That could be under like A dash, indent dash one or something.
Okay, I'm just gonna do that.
Then I'll fix the formatting.
There you go.
And then you decided when you want them to apply for that. I know there was a comment about it last week. I would not say before the cut. Because that's a lot of extra work for them, a lot of extra work for accounting. I'd say it's after they get their permit approval. Whether it's after they get their building permit, after they get their cup.
Before they can start construction.
Usually we require 911 addresses before like a house gets built.
And that's when you're gonna have
So that'd be before your building permit.
anybody hurt on a job site or anything like that. That's what they really need this for.
So yeah, you can decide if you want it, they apply right after they get their cup approval, they apply anytime before their building permit, zoning certificate is applied for, or anytime before construction commences, which would be after they have their building.
Construction commences,
Yeah,
I would say.
if somebody gets hurt out there and they say, well, they're out.
But if they're not applying for it till after construction commences, it might take a while to get that split up. So if you want them to,
Get one. Any idea?
What is this, your address and
well, they have to figure out what the address is. Like,
Yeah.
they have to get them printed, they have to get them delivered. I will figure out the fees to get you guys, Carol can input that later. Okay, I would say probably you'd either want it right before, before they apply for the building permit or right after they apply for the building permit. I don't know that I would, if you're worried about safety, I don't know that I would wait until they've started construction.
Right, at the time of the building permit application, maybe something like that, or after their building permit has been approved.
yeah, I'm just saying upon approval of building permit. Then immediate application for 911 permit is required.
There you go.
Payment is required at that time.
So,
Application with payment.
so instead of on commencement of construction, we're saying. Upon
Approval of building permit,
Okay.
is what you said.
on. Approval. Of building permits. So all turbine sites shall have individual 911. Rural address signs at each access road. Prior to the bill. After the approval. After the approval of. Bill. Okay,
I mean, that's a pretty vague open space, but at least that's more specific than after construction. Basically have half the same information on page 15, section D for signage. For the 911 address. I don't know if we need to move and consolidate that.
where at?
Page 15, section D, it's like. Down towards the bottom, it says signage.
Oh. This is other standards. So then we wouldn't need to have that down. We would need to have that for safety.
You can move most of that from the safety over to signage and then just keep A as all turbine site shall have the 911 address at each access road. Per the requirements listed in the previous.
So say, okay, so, hang on. So leaving all turbine sites will have individual 911 address, but now it won't say after the approval of the building permit, we need to put in there per. That needs to go up to the other standards, right?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on.
Because this part talks more about placement of signs for safety and direction.
So I'm gonna copy that here.
I get really nice.
I'm just gonna put this here for a minute and with that, so. What is?
Maybe we go back to safety, all you have to put is just all turbine sites will have an individual rural address sign for each access road, because the 911 has been defined on page 50,
Mm-hmm,
so you don't have to go back and do it twice.
but then the safety, you can still include the placement of other signs.
Fine.
Were you able to cut these out? Fine. Thing is like,
Certified.
save it before something changes.
Oh.
I know.
All right, got that, we'll save that. Okay, so now I'm gonna take out,
Okay, so, yeah. Yeah. That made bigger. Don't.
so where we had, so this, the signing one site starts out saying all turbine sites shall be required to have individual 911 address signs at each access road. So then I should add in, do I need to add in there the approval after the approval of the building permit? Do I need that part of the sentence in that first?
No, because the next sentence says individual signs shall be requested from Tama County 911 Communications.
Prior to submitting a zoning certificate application.
So that's saying before the building permit.
So,
If you want to keep it before the building permit, we can use their wording if you want to change it to after the permit's approved.
But that,
yeah, okay, so then I'm gonna take that,
So that's where we slid.
okay, I'm gonna take that sentence out then.
What about if we just put that they have the address needs to be required? And then the signs need to be posted before construction.
That's the,
I don't know, but does that make sense? They can get the paperwork done with the 911 department. That they got the address, they can put that on their building permit. And then once the permit is approved, then they can order their signs and they can't start construction until the signs are in place.
you have to put that in, the sign's gotta be in place for construction.
Right. Right,
So if something would happen, they know. So
so they can pay the money.
Is that feasible? I mean, is that realistic that everybody has to sign up before they commence construction?
I would think so. They're not starting immediately after they get their building permit. That's not what I'd experienced firsthand with.
How long is that?
I can't imagine it takes more than 2 weeks. I mean, it's probably comes from the same
He's
department,
got a bunch of them. I mean,
license department.
Oh, he doesn't have them sitting around. He's got to like,
yeah.
Well, it'd be like a license plate. They have to order them, but within a week or 10 days, you got it.
So I took that paragraph and I stuck it up on 15. I don't know if did all that signage stuff need to go up on?
was anybody contradictory?
I don't know, I'll read what went up here. All turbine sites shall be required to have individual 911 rural address signs at each access road. Individual 911 addresses and signs shall be requested from Tama County 911 Communications Department prior to submitting a zoning certificate application if a conditional use permit has been approved. All other signs except those required for safety and directional purposes or otherwise authorized by the county shall be prohibited in the project area. Placement of other signs by applicant except those required for safety and directional purposes. Oh, that's a duplicate. Applicant shall ensure the directional signs are removed on conclusion of construction. That's all under signage.
No, that should go under safety. The safety one should keep the ones about removed because we don't want them to remove the 911.
They've got to keep
So I think you pulled something extra.
So take out the pulling them.
That should stay under safety.
Okay, I didn't take anything out of safety, so now I gotta go back down to safety.
those are just directional signs.
Did you pull over the part about requiring a fee?
I did not, that,
That was the main part that we added was the fee for
well,
the,
the fee was up on F.
for the 911 signs. I thought,
No, I didn't put anything in the fees yet, I just put a note saying we need to do fees, but I hadn't. We were waiting, you know,
you know the note that we need to do fees to page 15, then
Okay.
we need to add that to safety.
Okay.
We can add it to page 15.
okay,
All right.
15. Fees.
Okay.
Okay, add. The. This whole thing and make that,
I'm gonna make a note that that's all on page 15. Okay, so.
yeah, and I'm gonna assign that purple, since that's. Okay,
But to be sticking them on though, did you ever say those, they gotta be put up as soon as approval of building permit?
that is out now because up here it said. Prior to submitting a zoning certificate application.
Okay,
So what we had down there contradicted what was up there.
well, you tell us, we got our butts covered now.
You need to add that they need to be placed by a certain time, because I think that was just they need to be ordered by a certain time.
Doesn't say anything about placed. Do we need to put something about placed?
You could have that part under safety, because you want that up because of safety issues. You could put
Yeah,
All right,
previously ordered 911. Now you're back to 19 again.
okay, so now,
Girl.
here we go. Now I got some questions about safety. So. I did not erase anything under safety, I just copied and pasted it, that's all I did. So for safety, all that stuff under there, placement of other signs and stuff, that needs to stay here under safety, right?
yes,
Okay. Now, but it also says all turbine sites shall have individual 911 address signs. We said part of that should stay, but we need to take out the part that says after the approval of the building permit.
Well, you had that in the earlier spot, so yeah.
Does it just need to say then for safety, all turbine sites shall have the 911 address sign? And just stop there?
at
What
each
about
access road as constructed.
At each access road as constructed, okay. Let me,
At the time, construction.
As constructed.
What about 911 signage fees are required upon application? Period. Upon building permit approval, 911 signage must be in place before start of any construction.
I like it.
But will they even they won't have any place to put it, they don't have the road built yet.
All you have to do is put it in the fence road. That's,
I just said, because I want to put that in permanent one thing.
Well, their access roads are gonna be a lot bigger for construction than what they'll be for maintenance,
Okay.
right?
well, they can't do anything until their building permit is approved. So then they'll have their signage before they can,
Post.
the day they go out there to start construction, they can put the sign in the ground.
Well, they usually have all their other signs up there anyway, you know. all-
Yeah.
So they write it all the 911
So
sign.
yeah, might as well have 911 right.
Basically, all it is the address.
now, what am I doing now?
That's what I wrote down.
Is this back up on 15 or is this down on? Is this back up on signage up here?
19.
Yeah, I think it'd be safety, because you're telling them when they need
Safety.
signage.
So stands
You know, on site.
Yeah.
So. Alright, so this. Alright, I'm just gonna add this to the. Sign. Well, I did spell that right.
I didn't know if you wanted to add that, or you got the signage with the request out of the 911 communications department. I don't. Cause that's where it starts, and then you can, then you're gonna have their 911 signs to put over here at your safety thing. And then it definitely guarantees all turbine sites shall have individual row addresses at each access road. Period. I don't know, I mean, otherwise we're just duplicating everything, right? I mean, pretty much it says there, the fees or whatever are gonna be in your signage. And then you go forward with safety, and there it is.
So you're thinking this should be up on top with
Stand here
standard,
as the signage,
the
and
standards
then
up there, okay?
throw that in with the, wherever it fits. After
Sometimes you use it twice.
Yeah,
That's brilliant.
and then once you get back to safety, all turbine sites shall have an individual 911 row address.
Okay,
Very good.
Yeah.
okay, so we can see.
Yeah. They probably will.
And are we still going to? Are we gonna add anything? Do we still need to add in like what the fees are going to be in this ordinance? And will it be in that section?
That'd be up in 15, that'd be with the signage.
Okay.
On the meeting. In window, when it's running.
Okay,
So then
Yeah.
about adding fees.
Make sure that covers the fees that we're talking
Okay.
about. Cover.
let me highlight this. And then let me take it out to them.
I emailed Jacob, we'll see if he catches it tonight or not, if he's, check his email.
Okay,
Moving right along.
I think I got it.
No problem, right?
Roll.
That's okay.
Page 20. Steve and I were looking at under E. Another certified engineer. First sentence for all CWECS manufacturing engineer or another certified engineer shall certify every so. So,
Another qualified engineer, I don't know what that means. If he's
Does that mean anybody with an engineering degree?
yeah,
So do you want certified?
certified engineers, he's got to.
Then we need to change that that second certified,
yeah, it sounds redundant, but
yeah,
So for all CWECS benefit engineers, another certified engineer shall,
shall give approval. I don't know, shall,
ascertain, how about we put that in there?
Coming with all the big words today, Doug.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not mine.
shall ascertain
Your
certification.
vocabulary is amazing tonight.
Shall ascertain that the turbine foundation and tower design, leave all that under out there, right?
Shall ascertain. Okay,
Or do we have to leave that in there? Or-
so you're trying to figure out if we leave in before approval of a cut?
Yeah, that's what I-
Synonyms, confirm, verify, endorse, and endorse, and attest.
What about what you've got in purple there, Laura? Do we need to leave that in there?
When do you want that? Do you want it before they approve the cup? Do you want it before they build it? Our current ordinance says it's a requirement before approval of the cup. But that would run into if they do not give you a model at the time of the cup. Or like all their other information, then they would be able to give you a,
we're gonna run into that same thing,
they
to
could
be,
be,
to put it politely. About, well, we can't tell you what kind of turbine or what kind of we're gonna use because we don't know if it's even been manufactured yet. Are we gonna run into that again?
as long
I
as,
mean, it was in the old ordinance that they had to have it. It wasn't in their application. They didn't follow through with that on Salt Creek too. And now they're saying, well, we didn't know, but that isn't the problem of the people of Tama County. That's their problem. That's their bottom line, not ours.
I don't know if you guys wanna do research or talk to people in the industry, if that truly is an industry standard now, where developers don't know that, or if it's just these developers that are working with work that way, or, I mean, you guys are allowed,
Something to research.
you guys are allowed to do that type of research, see if that standard has been changing, where they can't provide it before, or like when they should really know the model for approval.
According to what Mr. Roberts had said, he said that they had orders 2 years out. For these, the first Salt Creek one. So if they had them out for 2 years out. Then why in the world didn't they have them when they did
So yeah, it would be up to you
Salt
guys.
Creek two?
It would be up to you guys if you want
That's what I
all of
didn't
that
understand.
information
Yeah.
before you approve
Double
it.
speak,
Unless they're moving them somewhere else.
but that's not our.
I know, but that's why they want to keep it as
Wide open.
open as they possibly can.
I would just say you need to specify either way, if you need it before the cup, or if you just need it before they build. You need to specify it either way in here. You can pick how you wanna do it. You can research what's the best industry standard currently. Industry standard is not necessarily the best way, it's the best way the manufacturer would want it. So, I mean, you could ask both sides, you can,
I know what some other counties are doing too.
Yeah.
but I would just keep a note in there that we need to clarify that either way when they need to provide that information. But yeah, you guys can check other ordinances, talk with people.
So maybe we should just let that.
Yeah, let that go.
Okay. If you just wanna add a note that says we're checking and we'll fill it in later, and it gets permission. Right.
What are the specs, what are?
You can leave it purple, it's fine.
Some of the other counties.
I'll make it I'll try and make it a little lighter.
I don't know, I didn't have that many options for her.
I don't have many here either, but I'll just make it curly. Okay. And I'm just gonna put down here, we are researching industry standards.
So we go back to that towards the end when you guys have time to, I thought that needed clarity either way. When you want that.
So then you don't have any more things until we get down to permit application.
Page 23. That was another one of those. Construction.
Emergency expensive incurred. By looking for.
23, she has.
Funds are not.
Is that what
Yeah,
you
you
do?
highlight that.
One or the only one?
So last,
Or,
If it's letting,
what if we could highlight under J, back on page 20?
I'll ask Carol, she's got the highlighter.
What?
Sorry.
That's okay, what are we highlighting?
Under J,
I don't have that highlighter. I've got my own one
Okay.
from the last meeting.
just we're under J, it says county funds are not required to cover expenses related to response actions. Highlight that,
Okay.
just to make sure that we're, the county's not paying for.
Okay,
Like highlight that to make sure that's legal, or highlight that
Yeah.
to come back to later, or make
You know,
it
just
bold.
Highlight it so they see it, they see her.
oh, so maybe bold
Make it
and,
bold.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
Our highlighting is our,
yeah, yeah.
our highlighting right now is our notes to each other.
Yes. that's how we
Yeah.
communicate.
Bolding,
I
not
will bold it.
okay. bolding.
And Laura, I
Couple
don't,
exclamation points, maybe, Carol.
Yeah, there you go.
Laura, I don't know why, like sometimes I go to highlight something and then
Everything highlights.
like just out of the blue down here, this J is highlighted. And I can't get it to unnecessary.
Random, like, numbering letter that I unhighlighted like an M or something.
Right,
Like,
And I
Like I-
highlighted the words and the letter would go away.
so I'm going down to that shouldn't be highlighted, but it's, oh no, okay. But sometimes there's so much. Okay, so that is bolded.
Okay, I put a note to not
Do
unbold.
you think, we're just talking here, all turbines should be equipped with ice sensors and permit holders shall ensure that turbines are programmed to automatically stop when ice is detected.
Is that anywhere else in here?
No, I don't see it, but is that bullshit or not?
yeah.
I just
They
want to know.
really,
That's a thing, yeah.
Yeah, because it offset is weighted. the weights on the blades because of the ice,
And they will automatically stop.
But it'll throw that ice a long ways, I bet.
once it melts off.
Yeah,
But if it stays cold and there's ice on it, it's not gonna melt
Right?
until the sun comes out, so.
servers shall not be allowed to operate until free of ice and danger of ice throw is passed.
They have that technology though?
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, page 20,
Yes,
it's in page 20 already,
yes,
number K,
yes.
number K.
Yeah, that's what they're reading.
They didn't think it was true. Oh, you didn't think it was
We
true?
didn't
I
know.
thought you wanted to add it, I was
No,
like,
we
no,
just wanna know if they had that technology
it's
or
a
not,
thing, yeah.
and if they use it, would be the.
Right. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Oh, so I thought you wanted to add it, I'm like, no, I think it's already in there. Sorry, I misunderstood.
Well, I think that's why some of those, when we were reading about those turbines in other countries, that they have them have some kind of coating on it to keep them from, I
I
think,
see now.
but I suppose that makes it more expensive.
It's kind of like the whole fire suppressant system. It's more expensive, but it's safer.
All right, so 23, page 23.
We just don't have to just skip ahead to where I put notes and stuff.
Well, we're coming, they're getting to a far between that, we're addressing things. So it's, you have a note here, for the purposes of this paragraph, the installation.
what's this, this one? Did we do that? Notice of intent to construct? Is that still in there?
Page 21.
Page 20. Well, I don't know, I got.
Right, it's our page 21. You're not that old.
I got the last meetings, let's put it that way, it's not that.
Those intent, yeah. That's your
Section 2,
section 2.
okay, are we going through that? Is that?
Well, we were looking at the highlights that Laura had,
Oh,
so there were no highlights.
okay, then we're.
So I'm, yeah,
Okay,
so we're just not taking it, yeah.
got it,
So,
thank you.
no, that's fine. So it says for purposes of this paragraph, the installation of Met towers associated with potential CWECS bill not be deemed construction activities requiring a CWECS construction permit. She wants to know, is construction the right word for the permit we are issuing?
Is
Because
it,
everywhere else we're removing construction.
it wouldn't be building permit then?
So, then we go.
We did add building permit equals zoning certificate in the definitions. So we could call it building permit, zoning certificate application. We just can't call it a construction permit because we don't talk about construction permits anywhere else.
Yeah, we talked about building permits, so. Did we?
We're gonna have to change that, aren't we?
So what are we, on this a building permit?
That work? Oh,
We'll be remembering it's
23.
oh, yeah.
23.
Okay, first solution, my terms, which is.
Is that gonna be a truck permit or is that gonna be the building?
I mean, you can probably just reword that whole paragraph, because we talk about, somewhere else we talk about the Met Tower reporting their own cup. I don't know where that's at.
Or we got building before we put zoning?
Just a quick question, how many of those do they put up usually? Meteorological.
I don't. Trying to think how many permits I've seen. Like 4 or 6 or something.
I saw 2 of them the other day on the drive, that I just counted.
I didn't know those were still up. I thought they took down those.
There's one up here north. Got 220th maybe?
So on page 6, we say meteorological towers require their own conditional use permit as permitted in section 3.1. So we might have changed that part, and then that would be. I mean, if we wanna throw in an extra section that says, you know, after that, that says Met Towers require their own cups and building permits separate of the CWECS application. Because usually those are years ahead of the actual CWECS.
It's kind of confusing. They shall not be deemed necessary. Well, that's your name.
Okay, so
I forgive you.
so the general paragraph that any construction activity related to CWECS can begin in Tama County before they can begin. A CWECS permit must be issued by the county and applicable agreements per section 8 must be signed by all parties. For purposes of this paragraph, the installation of Met Towers associated with potential CWECS shall not be deemed construction activities requiring a CWECS. It wouldn't be a building permit, it would be a top permit.
Yeah,
Well, it's probably both the CWECS cup and building certificate.
So conditional use permit. Okay, so see,
Actually, it's semi-cool though, I don't know if that's needed or not, if you wanna change that to meteorological towers require their own conditional use permit and zoning certificates, separate of a CWECS application. Cause like I said, usually those are years before.
so
you're saying the Met Tower used to put in years before the wind turbine was put up?
There were some that were applied for as far back as like 2015, and they didn't get their cup application until 2020. So they do it to see how viable the area is. If they want to move forward with the project, I think is part of it, at least at the beginning, and then later it might have different applications.
So how does it stand right now? Do they need any kind of permit to throw up a Met Tower or not?
They need a cup because it's for use on ag land that's not ag purposes. So all the Met Towers have had cups in the past, they were just years ago.
So.
so
why
They
do
weren't
we
part of
say
their
anything
application.
different?
Yeah, you need to, why do we need to mention it then?
Well, in page 6, we do mention it that meteorological towers require their own conditional use permit as that's a weird sentence. Require their own permit as permitted in section 3.1.
back on page
Well,
6.
we're on section 3.1, so page 6 is referencing this paragraph.
Okay,
Just need to put a
Yeah,
period after.
okay, so hang on a minute.
Period, that's what they meant, right? Don't put that section 3.1.
On page 6,
Yeah,
So, okay. So up on 6 where it says use permit is permitted,
right?
what, let's change that word.
yeah.
You're right, that's odd.
yeah.
Can you just say require the open conditional use permit, period?
As stated in section or as. This says it's permitted in section 3.1, but
Or that's 3.1.
that's
We're in
what we're saying,
3.1, page 2030.
that's where we're at, 23.
Oh,
As and
Stated and, yeah, I'm just gonna put stated.
that's close enough.
Yeah.
You don't need to be flat. We just can't be redundant.
Right, so if that's not a good word, I'm gonna highlight it, that's not a good word, we can stick it on it.
Okay.
If I can get this.
I would also though add they would require their own conditional use permit and zoning certificates.
where?
It says that, it does say that up there.
It says any conditional use permit. Oh, it does.
It does say zoning certificate.
No, it says what?
No strip. Okay. Hang on a minute, let me highlight this one word before I do anything else.
But not be deemed.
We can change the wording though.
Okay, so then meteorological towers require their own conditional use permit and
Zoning certificate.
zoning certificate. Certificate. As stated in section 3.1.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just gonna highlight that whole section and then I'm gonna go back down
Think about it.
and we were on 23, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then down here. Do we want?
So now we're also calling it a CWECS permit, so we need to probably change where it says CWECS permit to.
To a conditional use permit. So before.
And
restriction-
zoning certificate, it needs to be both.
Okay, so. I'll get rid of this. A conditional. Use permit and zoning certificate. Must be issued by the county and applicable agreements. As section, per section.
I don't think that's the agreements part. We might need to go back to the applicable.
Okay, I'll just highlight this for now. And. I'll highlight what we changed and then I'll highlight.
It's that part where it says the purposes of this paragraph, the installation of Met towers associated with a potential CWECS.
Should that be a new, should we make that a new paragraph, just?
Yeah.
Why don't we just throw it out of there?
Well, because you want to say that it's not part of the CWECS cup. So
Just say
this is saying that the Met is
Just
not
say-
part of the CWECS
So you
cup.
say it, Met is not part of the scene.
I'm thinking about how to word for that, hold on. Carolyn, any ideas? Okay, I like the beginning up to the installation of Met towers associated with potential WECS. Okay, after that.
So do you want them to have a cup to put up a tower or not?
Yes,
That's the question.
but it's not part of the, it's not part of the CWECS cup.
It's a separate
It's their.
application, a separate application made for a Met tower is required to obtain a cup permit.
So really, if we
I don't know
put,
what we-
if we, okay, so if we
That's
put.
pretty basic.
Yeah, it's,
So for the purposes of this paragraph, the installation of Met towers associated with the potential CWECS. So because they are associated with them, correct?
Yes,
Okay,
Do we need that for the purposes of
Yes.
this paragraph?
I would say keep that.
okay, hang on. For purposes of this paragraph, the installation of Met towers with the potential CWECS. So now that part's okay.
Sure.
It's, this part shall not be deemed construction activities requiring.
That's-
Can we just say do not,
That would take out.
that we take out? And we just say,
Shall not be.
Installation of Met towers associated with potential CWECS shall require a separate application or whatever. CWECS permit,
and zoning certificate.
individual permit, whatever.
Well, because the Met towers don't have the same, like all the same requirements that you're talking about in here. They're more just, they're more in line with like the communication towers. You still have your setbacks, you still have,
but you don't have the footprint or anything like you do that, you know, I mean, they're not huge, or, I mean, the ones I saw.
but we still have a notification process because it is for a cup. So, I mean,
But they, so in other words, they need the permit, but they just need to be compliant with the applicable ordinances, county ordinance that exists at the time.
I think for this paragraph, we just want to say Met towers associated with potential WECS.
Require a separate conditional use permit.
Require a separate permit.
And do not need to be included in your,
Well, they would be included if they have their own permit.
and yeah, and would not be considered part of the CWECS
It
permit.
would not be considered part of the C,
But they won't be. Should the CWECS go up, they're gonna be part of it.
but they're not part of the permitting.
No, that's what I said. They'd have their standalone
So
permit.
that's what we're putting here, would
Yeah,
not be considered
exactly.
part of the CWECS
Yep.
permitting process.
You guys want to require them to at least note which meteorological towers would be associated that are staying? Or even if they don't need to be re-permitted, like just have it mapped out as something they're submitting, or do you care? Or, because a lot of these Met towers, I think only go up for like 3 or 5 years. And then they're down
Take
long
down.
before the
Yeah.
program comes.
Yeah,
Then they take it
But
back.
then you said you've seen them though recently, so I'm not sure.
yeah, there was something where they were just putting up the towers now, so I don't,
Maybe that's just to help with their
and maybe. that
surveying
was it.
what's going
Yeah.
on while they have those running.
Mm.
Maybe they need the data for the first year or so to.
So yeah, as far as this part of the ordinance goes, I don't think we need that shall not be deemed construction activities,
Right.
just as long as we specify that the Met towers require their own separate permitting and cut process and do not need to be included in the CWECS.
Okay, I highlighted that, it's good, let's move on.
You bet.
And provided it's still installed in compliance with all applicable county ordinance and regulations, right? That would stay in there? Yes, no? About the following the ordinances for size and everything else is. I mean, does that sentence, I'm just wondering, does that sentence need to remain in it? We got towers associated with potential CWECS. Permit, whatever, and then provided that any such tower must be installed in compliance with all other applicable county ordinances and regulations.
I think it's hurting anything.
So that would stay there.
Yeah, stay around.
Okay. All right, well, highlight that, we are just. Okay. That's the last of the highlights.
I don't think I went much further than that, because right on gone, I mean.
Okay, what's next?
Charlotte territory.
Question, page 27. L. To aid in covering county costs associated with permitting and oversight of the project over its lifetime, the permit fee equal to $2,000 for each turbine in the project will be paid upon approval. A non-refundable fee of $8,000 shall be paid upon submission of the application permit to cover applicable processing and review by the county. In the events the permits are issued, this processing fee expense shall be deducted from the $2,000 fee.
Why?
Well, exactly, that's why I'm wondering why, you know. If it was me, I would just strike that total,
Yeah,
you know,
leave that in the event.
and then
If that
I
is
start,
correct.
in the event that permits are issued, this processing and review fee expense shall
Well,
be
that's
deducted.
basically like saying if they had 10 turbines. That'd be 20,000
I'll say,
plus 8,
28,000.
but minus 8, because these guys are saying the minus 8, you'd only have to do your 20,000 total.
Yeah,
The 8,000 would come out of your total if you get approved, but if you don't get approved, you still have to pay the 8,000. But if you don't get approved, you pay the 8,000, but you don't have to pay the 2,000 per turbine.
again, I want to remind, who's making all the money on this deal?
So take off that in the event.
Don't you, I mean, guys, I think, why do we want to refund?
Refund money.
Yeah, I mean, we're in this to make a little money for the county.
We'll just strike out that last sentence.
Yeah, just take,
Okay, it's done.
You give me that, Jody?
is that too much? I mean, I don't.
So that's your $8,000 application fee.
Yeah.
Administrative application fee. We have to clarify administrative because everything's part of an application, so.
But you don't want it to be gifts back
We're on
after they.
page,
What's that, 26?
27.
no,
No,
We're thinking of striking out the last sentence of that paragraph.
Doug, did you bring your solar ordinance?
Yes,
What did you guys have for an application fee for a solar ordinance? For an administrative fee?
$1,000.
Was it?
No, I remember it.
which one? Adjustment. Board of Supervisors, zoning board, it just says. Approval of CWECS permit by the board, but which board?
This ordinance we're basing it off of would have been Board of Supervisors, so we would want to specify Board of Adjustment.
Board of Adjustment, yes.
we're gonna Tama County.
Oh, currently in our ordinance, we have the cut is per turbine, so they need a cut per turbine. I think we should make sure we specify that the cut is for each location and not for the project as a whole. Just so there's no gray area about, oh, this is for my whole project, so it's for each location, including substation, including any meteorological towers.
Where are we at?
I don't know,
Go back to section 3, part B, right?
I was just, we were talking about cup limits earlier. I'm like, you need to clarify that. I don't remember where it's at. Sorry, Carol.
Each turbine shall require an individual permit, all of the
Yeah.
questions.
You gotta find it. Is it already in there?
Go to 3, part B,
What page is that?
under where we were at with the,
27?
yeah, page 23. Includes collection of turbines included in a project may be submitted as a collection within the permit application.
Each turbine should require an individual conditional use permit.
And, yeah, and
Is
zoning certificate, okay, conditional use permit. But then, yes, I agree, they can be submitted as a collection, kind of like how they did now with that big binder.
Okay,
I would say turbine and accessory structures.
okay, hang on.
Turbine. Lucy used to.
Okay, it's submitted as a collection, can that be read as? They think they can get by with putting all the turbines in, say they got 20. Which they can't, but if they did, would that 20 then? Supersede that each turbine shall have a permit?
No, the way I'm reading this, and maybe we need to specify, but, so, like with the existing ones we have, they
Right,
submit this thick,
right,
but they did pay for each turbine cup application, because we're
but
submitting.
it came in as a collection,
It came in as a collection, so all the information's together, their maps include all of it together,
okay,
their studies include all of it together. But they do still need to pay for and get certified for each location, and if there's like one location where it's like, we need to move this one because of something or other,
right,
or this one has more outcry than the other survey or however many. So yes, I'm reading it that it can be submitted as a collection, but then when we specify ahead that each turbine and
Right.
location needs it, so I don't know if you want to add more wording to that. That's what I was getting from it, but that could be my own bias from how I've been going through their application recently. So
No,
if you
that's
think
how I
it needs
thought
more,
it too. I
if
thought,
you think it needs more clarity,
maybe you should take out although. And just leave it the collection of turbines included in a project may be submitted. Because it make it sounds like there's a variance there that you can wobble through, I don't know.
so take out although and make a new sentence.
And just
Collection
start, yeah, start with that collection
Yeah,
of
I like that,
turbines.
but, yeah,
Yes,
For the collection of permits, because if we're including other structures, you can't just say turbines here, you'd have to say other
Or
permits.
the collection of cup permits. Okay, collection of permits included in a project, maybe some, yeah,
zoning certificates included in project may be submitted as a collection within the permit application.
yeah, because you put all over there, it sounds like there's a chain or wiggle room there that
right,
they can get around individual
Sorry, I'm back.
permits. Well, that's what, that's why we're all sitting here.
back to 27.
Okay, that.
Seven,
Unavailable, we're gonna strike out that last sentence, million on the. That's all right with you.
and then the permits are issued, this processing review fee expense shall be deducted from $2,000 fee permitted permitted turbine.
Strike that sentence.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll just check this on that slide.
What? So this last sentence is coming out?
Yes.
That 2,000,
So we don't have to run it back.
okay, got it,
Got it, done.
it's gone.
On the vote again,
Administrative fee for our solar ordinance was 2,500.
500.
So you wanna make it match?
Instead of 2,000 to 2,500.
But that was the overall. That
For
was,
each
that was
year.
the project was, it was 2,500.
That was, yeah, that was the administrative application fee.
This
Per
would be
turbine.
$8,000 and 2,000 a unit, so
Per turbine.
per turbine. Isn't that right? So
We could leave it at
I
2 and
believe,
8.
I believe 280, yeah, I think that's. And not
Okay,
give,
does that money have to be
Nice money back.
not give any,
set aside by the county? Once it's there, or is it just into the general fund and it? Come on. Yeah, I mean, there's no way
in my
to put a,
budget, but you know.
That's a good question.
I don't think.
there's no way to.
That's
out of our.
Yeah, supervisors,
All of the zoning fees currently go into the general fund,
yeah.
so this these are likely to be the same.
We need.
That's
we
why
need
we're
money.
$1 million in debt.
So 100 turbines that's a $200,000 and then.
But right now, we won't be getting any new ones if Salt Creek 2 goes up, because we'll be over our max, so we won't be getting any.
You know,
Yeah, but then we still have room for one.
Got a question, bottom of page 28, notice that page filing. By 2 consecutive weeks enough? For people to see that, or should, or, I mean, I've just heard people say, well, I didn't even know they were gonna be coming up in my neighborhood, I didn't, nobody let me know,
yeah,
you know, or
you're always gonna have that.
you are,
Well,
you are.
we don't have a reliable way of communicating. You know, we don't have a paper or anything anymore, and we do have people all over the county, like, my principal is from Dizer, and he didn't even know any of this was going on.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
It all went through COVID. That's what that was the under,
Some Dizer didn't
Cute
get those
little
all the
meeting was
signs,
down
there
there.
were so many signs up in the Dizer area,
I don't know.
everywhere.
Is there a way of making that better under number 5?
Well, probably newspaper notification, they only publish once a week. You need to get your public notice in a week before. So if you cut it to 7 days, that's like, they have to get their application filed on a Friday and immediately get it to the newspaper to get it 7 days. So I think 7 day turnaround for newspaper notification is really tight. That's just me.
it would be quicker to put it on Facebook than it would be to put it in the newspaper. As a zoning. The Tama County zoning board or board of
Nobody
supervisors or
wants to
anything. Because other than the little Tama shopper and how much longer that's gonna be around.
You guys could specify whatever free circular,
I don't either, I don't do this.
Social media, I don't know by,
the front page of the shopper, because if it's back page of the shopper, nobody reads it.
On TikTok.
Is there a way of contacting, we got it in here anyway,
You
is
don't
there a
need
way
to
of
read it.
contacting
I can't even read it.
within the area?
well, it says within a mile of the tower site. They have to, if you back up,
It is a.
Yeah, it's in there.
it's in the area, so they have to
Be notified.
notify of anybody within a mile
Okay,
of a tower site. But right now, I'm a mile. The new towers, it's close. Maybe we should make it 2 miles.
You could also say within the boundary or 1 mile, whatever's greater, because there will be some people outside the boundary that's within a mile.
right,
But then you'll have people within the boundary that are outside of a mile.
Yeah.
And if they're technically in the boundary, the access lines could go right through them and, I mean, the access lines are on the map, but they're not part of the notification process as far as you have an easement for this, but we're not notifying you that we have a meeting.
So how are they supposed to be notified by mail then?
Right now it's by mail, yes. Not certified mail, that would cost us a fortune.
what
Right.
is that on?
Jody, maybe you want part of the application
I
process.
think it's on 25, whatever. Yeah, no, 25. 25D. Applicants shall be responsible for mailing a notice via US Postal Service to each landowner within 1 mile of any turbine within the potential project, as well as to the owners of the public conservation areas and all communication, other antenna identified in the potential project area.
I would maybe change some of the wording, because it just says within the potential project area. I would say within any mile of a turbine and everyone within the potential project area.
What about 2 miles is within the potential project? And that would give you the project area and a 2 mile buffer all the way around it.
Cause yeah, some of the turbine, 1,500 feet for this one that's being applied for now, does go outside of their set boundary. So I would say you wanna have both, whatever's.
You want to use certified mail?
Certified mail costs like $10.
Or 2 miles within any turbine within a potential project. I don't know, you know.
So since the county would not
Gets
be
your attention.
sending out the notification and certifying it, I thought I read that they need to provide that document, is that an E? Well, that's just for,
What happens if we don't have a postal service in another 10 years?
then we'll have to revise the ordinance. So part D where it talks about mailing doesn't say how they're going to confirm who they mail to. If the county's not the one mailing it out and confirming who gets mailed to, I mean,
It says the applicant shall be responsible for mailing a notice. I mean, utilizing
It would
United States
be,
Postal System certified mail.
I think it should be
and
on
then
the
turning in
applicant
the
to give a
certified.
list to the county of everybody they have sent a notification to.
If they do a certified mail, they could turn in the certified mail.
They get a return receipt request. Yeah.
So that's a bad idea, but.
No, I mean,
Because that would verify.
they can't say they're not been notified.
Right, that's what we need to have in here.
Yeah.
And you'd be
$10 is
supporting
cheap
the postal
insurance.
service.
What, yeah, you got the postal service. They need this money.
But then, yeah, throw in the thing about those, if you want certified mail, and if you want them to do it, the part about they need to turn in copies of all the certified mail receipts.
Well, so how would you list that? The applicant should be responsible for setting up and conducting. No, the applicant should be responsible for mailing a notice via United States Postal.
Are you certified?
Certified mail.
Be a
United
certified
States
mail
Postal Service.
donor within 2 miles of any.
2 miles. Yeah.
Okay, hang on. Guys are all talking at once.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. All right, so the applicant shall be responsible for mailing a notice via United States Postal Service certified mail.
Instead of mailing a notice, maybe sending a notice. I mean, it's gonna go by mail. I don't know, does that sound redundant again?
I think we're fine there.
It's all right.
Yeah.
To each landowner within 2 miles of the turbine within potential project,
Or other structure.
turbine or other structure.
Then we have to find what structure is. Not to be a
Within the
devil.
potential project as well as to the owners of the public conservation area, non-communication of their tenant,
Amen.
Amen.
So you're dying over the part.
That's just the last sentence. We didn't really talk about it. Public conservation and attendant and potential project.
So did you decide if you're doing the and everyone in the project or the greater of 2 miles or everyone project?
Each landowner within 2 miles of any turbine, whether
Yeah.
it's a potential project,
Okay.
and structures, as well as the owners of the public conservation areas. That work?
Well, just think about
What
the,
about within or without, within or out?
think about the,
Are any of them close to Traer? I mean, or close enough to Traer that you'd have to cover Traer in town? I mean,
probably not. Do you have a city setback? I thought we had a city setback
2 miles.
2 miles.
there. So then, no.
No, there's nothing right
Nothing
there.
should, I mean, I was just worried about having to do a whole town.
Well,
Certified.
if we
right?
did
Yeah.
2 miles from a corporate city limit, and you say 2 miles for notification, they wouldn't have their boundary within the city limit, so we wouldn't have to nail everybody.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, yeah.
So it'd be anybody 2 miles outside of town and then carry
One
on.
thing you may want to think about with notification is if you just leave it around the turbine and not with access collection lines, there might be people with easements with the collection lines that don't get notified, so.
Hmm.
So if you only leave with the turbines, that's fine.
It's only
Well, turbines and other,
Would that be or structure, or is that where your structure?
and other structures.
I think
That'd be
we're
the
worried
substation,
about
that'd be the
turbine.
one.
Well, I was gonna say, most of the turbines, the lines are all kind of within that area
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
So if you are within 2 miles of a turbine, the lines are there.
I think increasing it to the 2 miles really does cover a lot.
Yeah,
Yes.
If it was 1,000 feet, I know there are some that aren't, but
yeah.
I think we're good.
yeah, definitely the substation you'd want, if you don't want to include the light iron lot, that's up to you, but.
We're gonna keep the post office busy.
They need job security.
Yeah, I know, right?
We're over to 28 or? That's where we were at, but 29.
Back on page 25, do you want to require that pre-application information on conference says a location convenient to interested persons, but is that specific enough? Because you can't say that like Waterloo's a convenient. You want to say within the county?
Let's stay within the bounds of the.
So pre-application informational conference within the county, within the boundary, within the county. I don't think that you couldn't do it within the boundary because there's not,
You're gonna
it's out in the middle of nowhere.
You may have some wackos come in from everywhere.
Conducted at a location convenient to interested persons
Within the county.
Yeah, yeah.
at a facility adequate in size for the anticipated audience or attendance within the county. Well, I don't know where you want to add that in the sentence. I was trying to think and then it just kept going.
At the end right now.
Well, bottom of page 25. We don't actually have any CWECS permits. So we want to change your cup permit, zoning certificate, both.
27.
Well, if it's conditional use permit, then you zone certificate too, right? Okay, I'm gonna change it.
Yeah, I just don't think we went through the whole rest of the document to change everything, but
Yeah.
maybe there's zoning
Boy,
or.
I don't know what that's gonna be. It may not be an engineer, maybe you're looking at modeling software,
Right.
you know,
Okay,
establishing the shadow. There's probably only a few of them that can,
Right.
based on real world assessment.
We changed.
so there is no CWEX permit, correct?
Right,
Then I'm gonna change this one too that I just found. I'm gonna just, as I find them, I'll change.
do a fine. I tried that one thing. You did change the earlier 2015 in 2 months, right? I still said 1 month, but something was 5 minutes.
Yes.
Or last week.
Yes, yeah. Shadow flicker, I'm not big on.
Okay.
I do see a slight problem possibly with page 25, D with the applicant notifying. It includes all communication under antenna identified in the potential project area. Most people that use the antennas aren't the people that own the antenna land. And we don't even have documentation on who has it unless they contact me and they're like, oh, we're gonna do upgrade maintenance. Like, okay, and so then I got it from one tower, I got 2 towers actually, I got a request for upgrade maintenance, oh, they must be leasing that, whatever, we don't have that relationship. A month later, I get an email from a totally different company that says they're doing upgrade maintenance on the same location, I'm like. Thought they shared stuff, but I didn't know they shared like equipment, so. I don't know how we can enforce the. Communication of their tenant, aside from just sending it to the landowner of that parcel. And hopefully they would pass that along.
And that individual may want to sell it 2 or 3 times, you know, I mean.
Which I think we'd be covered if we consider landowners, because somebody does own the land of the communication towers.
Be the responsible party, I would think.
So,
And you'd be the one to answer the, like, the public hearing and the 129, I guess. County review of the public hearing, I don't know if those dates or the times are what. 30 days to review the application, is that enough time?
Before that, on 28, the applicant shall ensure that all safety related information contained in the submission is readily obvious or highlighted for review by the board of supervisors. In this, is that, we were talking about earlier that we're now use board of supervisors where we would use somebody else, but,
Under E,
yes, would that stay board of supervisor, or is that? Well, it says in their consideration of permit approvals, but board of supervisors doesn't do the permit approvals, right? That's board of adjustment, okay, that's what I thought.
yeah,
Should be
Okay.
more adjustment.
Okay, changed it. Okay, I just wanna make sure.
I just heard back from Jacob, he says for new signs and posts, like the whole combo sign post and the affixing hardware, it would be $46 per sign currently, give or take $1 or $2 based on hardware costs. And that's not counting his cost of
time and
putting the stickers on there. So I don't know if you wanna round up, because we just did the whole inflation thing and who knows when they're gonna actually get to this,
$100.
Yeah,
something.
that counts for some inflation.
Well, I mean,
I was
let's say
thinking,
5 years down the road, you know.
right,
But anyway, that's what it currently is per sign, give or take some, not counting his labor.
See, they're getting nothing right now.
They're getting nothing, right?
Yeah.
I think they get some stipend from the state, but he said is way more than,
So where do we put that?
Just for this.
that was the 911, I think it's paid 15. The first sign is when they need to apply for it. Yeah, page 15,
right.
D for signage.
Okay, so. So it works out pretty good. The last sentence says, or the second last one says 9/11 signage fees are required upon application upon a building permit approval. So we can stick it in there, right?
Yep.
So if you have $100 at the time of application, or when did we say this? For a sign,
You need to say that location or.
per sign, per location,
$100 per sign.
per sign, per sign.
Sign.
Where at time of application.
At the time of application of the sign, they need to pay for this.
So if you have, fee of $100 per sign will be required at time of application of sign,
Yes.
of signs.
I mean, I hate the redundancy, but I like to be specific. so,
Right.
Yeah, I'd rather be specific in
I'm
that.
starting to misspell the word like my students do.
2 F's or V.
UV. UV, get on the sign.
I'm getting some sun rays here.
UV. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna take that note out that we needed a notice there. Got it. Okay. Now where are we going?
Maybe not.
Oh,
Okay. So the part where it says county review. Where the zoning administrator takes it to the board of supervisors and the zoning administrator and board of supervisors on 30 days review, is that the board of supervisors? Then for county review?
or is it Board of Adjustments, Laura,
Sorry, we're responding to Jacob. What was the question again?
It says 26 down to 6.
29, 6 county review, it says zoning administrator and board of supervisors. I'm assuming you have not changed anything down this far.
No.
Okay, so should
Before
that,
we do that, should we go up to B, the notice of filing shall? Does that have to be each city located within 2 miles of the project area? Cause we put 2 miles on that other notification thing. Yeah.
B, you said?
The notice
It would be page 29B1.
29.
I think
That's
that's,
2 miles of the
Right.
project area, I think.
Yeah.
That's 2 miles, yeah.
you could change it to the zoning administrator and any. Well, because they're also saying supporting documents to the board of supervisors.
But this is the application and supporting documents. Would that go to the Board of Supervisors at all, or is that the Board of Adjustment? Or is this after all this?
This would be before the board of adjustment.
This
Be
is
like,
no filing,
Okay, so then would the Board of Supervisors have anything to do with it yet?
not yet.
hold on, so this would be if the supervisors were reviewing it, so the supervisors aren't reviewing this in our case yet. So the zoning admin shall promptly provide a copy of the application and supporting documents to the board of adjustment.
Okay,
The zoning administrator and board of adjustment shall set up a hearing.
and
Where are you at?
Page 29.
29.6.
We went backwards.
no, it's just below what you said.
Oh,
It's, so you were up at B, this is down just to 6, county review.
okay.
And I'm just, we have the zoning administrator, so I gotta change this to Board of
Because our
Adjustment.
current WECS ordinance does not have a date on how soon the board of adjustment has to meet. But if we want to say, you know, the zoning admin has to promptly get the application to the BOA members.
Which one send this to everybody?
Yeah,
I mean, the Board of Supervisors and the Board of Adjustment. I mean, everybody can review this.
Well, then we
I
would
would
need,
think would
then
want.
we need to request more than 6 hard copies if we're gonna send. it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's, but I think maybe that's the case.
But right now, when this happened, is there county review right now?
Right now, when this happens, the application comes into the zoning admin as the funnel. Because people don't contact the chairman of our boards directly, because we don't provide that information. So I'm the funnel. So right now, we got a new application, it comes to me, I notify the chairman of the board of adjustment. And they decide to call the meeting. I mean, I could say we would get a date set within a certain time period, kind of like with solar, I think we talked about it with solar. Get a date set for hearing, although the date does not have to be within a certain time frame.
See, we've got 30 days, so is that enough?
Say we got an application in last week. And it's the middle of harvest and 4 out of 5 members are
Yeah.
farmers,
all right,
and the other one's on vacation.
30 days.
You're not gonna get it in 30 days.
Yeah.
Plus, then you also have the CUP requires a 10-day notice after publication. So you have to have it. I mean, if
You're talking that app is sometimes that thick, right?
the app is like a 3-inch binder plus a whole separate one.
So you need some time.
So is it possible you can just stretch it out, say 6 months?
That's a little too long.
Yeah,
So we're talking 90 days?
I would say 60 days.
But I mean, you could say a set amount of time to get a date on the books.
Would you
But
be,
that date
would they done with harvest if it was, they just, like, they sent the application last
We
week?
make arrangements, you're gonna have some rainy days, you're gonna have some, you know.
Right, in 60 days.
60 days.
You have enough?
Okay, here, for solar, public hearing and vote, within 60 days of the submission of the
Yeah, there
complete
you go.
permit. The board of adjustment shall schedule a date for public hearing regarding the proposed application. The hearing itself does not need to be held within that 60-day time frame. You could match that.
Yeah, let's match.
So, okay, so the county
Here.
review would be 60 days to review.
Carol, turn around.
Right here. No, but I'm seeing, like, we have county review and public hearing right above each other. So is the public hearing,
This would be under the public hearing and vote, but,
First things first.
okay, so this county review though, where it says the board of adjustment shall have, so it did say 30 days to review a completed application. is 30 days enough to review the application?
No,
But this sounds like, from this, it sounds like they're saying 30 days to review it and then present it at a public hearing. That means you have to have the public hearing set up within those 30 days.
Yeah, that's,
So so both of, okay, so then this should be 60 days this to review.
don't you think? Yeah, I,
And then if you just throw in a thing, you know, trying to do as expediently as possible, but then you're also not saying you need to review 60 permits in 7 days, like.
muddy the language with that. I mean, that-
Okay, so hang on a minute. There's
Cause I mean, you don't want it to stretch out super long, but you also don't wanna be crunching on a huge
Because
project.
these guys are waiting on financing and they.
Okay, so then right below that is the public hearing. So upon completion of the 60 days to review this, it says the public hearing will be held no later than 30 days.
So we're back to 90 days again,
No,
from the date of application to the date of the public hearing is 90 days.
60 plus 30.
So I mean, that's not. I mean, I think that's not bad, right?
No.
I mean, so that can be left at
so
30.
it's, what is the time frame again that you've got for it?
So we have 60 days for the county review. From the time it comes in, they have 60 days to review it, and then we get to the public hearing and it says held no later than 30 days.
After the review.
You got a maximum 60 days, you may get done within 40 or 50.
Right.
Right, and then you can schedule the meeting.
But you have 60 days to review it, just in
Yeah.
case. And then after that, you'd have 30 days to schedule the hearing.
Somebody drops an application in on the 1st of August, that means by the 1st of September, you've got to have it all reviewed, and
No.
then by the 1st of November.
60 days.
Yeah.
That'd be
From
perfect.
August, you'd have August, if they dropped it on the 1st of August,
You know, August,
you'd have till the 1st of October,
First of all.
Right,
yeah,
you just-
and then till the 1st of November to do the public hearing.
right,
Yeah,
Right.
and that'd be a worst case scenario. I mean, that'd be the hardest.
Or the other thing in the spring.
Spring.
But I would hope that a lot of people would understand that Tama County's rural, that
Yeah,
your boards are,
they don't.
they're farmers and.
They don't
They
understand.
don't understand.
That's why they're here.
So do you wanna throw something in about, you know, trying to set up as, you know, get a date set as soon as possible, even if the date is further out, kinda like we did with solar, or, cause I mean, we might be able to set a date today, but our date's not gonna be for another 6 weeks, so if we wait until that 60 days is up to even start setting up a date. And then, like I said, the cups require 10 days in the newspaper, so that's 10 days plus your week. Of notification to the paper before they publish it. I mean, that's half a month right there, so you'd only have 2 weeks to schedule. 2 week window to figure out your dates.
what do we have in solar?
In solar, it says. It doesn't have the whole, you know, time or anything, it just says in solar, within 60 days of submission of the complete application.
Just to set up the public hearing, though, shouldn't be that hard to do. You gotta do the publication 2 weeks ahead of time, is that correct?
It has to be published for 10 days,
10 days, okay.
and then you need to submit it a whole week before that.
Mhm.
So like, say your date's a Thursday then? 10 days would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It'd have to be in the newspaper by the 7th, and then you'd have to have it submitted to the newspaper by October 31st.
But you know all this
That's-
August first. I mean, you'd have
There's-
60 days to review it
Excuse
before
me.
you set up that public hearing.
Right. But the way you're saying is that like basically the admin doesn't have to even worry about setting up a date until after the 60 days. But then you're cutting it down to.
Yeah.
Well, that gives me 1 week to figure out dates. So, I mean, the way we have it in solar.
You're good.
The way we have it in solar is within 60 days of the submission of a complete application. The Board of Adjustment shall schedule a date for public hearing regarding the proposed application. The hearing itself does not need to be held within the 60-day timeframe. So that's just saying within 60 days of getting the application, we have to have a date set up. So that would encompass the time to review it and the time to set it up. Because you can review it after, as it's
Right.
going through the publication process.
Yeah.
But then this doesn't limit you to exactly within the 2-month period,
Why
I
does
think,
this
I think
have,
whatever you're comfortable with on this, I think that
unless you think we need more or less time.
why does this not say anything about the Board of Adjustment? It just says zoning administrator and the Board of Supervisors.
We just changed that.
Change.
Oh,
Because this is still mostly based off the one that
This
we
is
or
started.
this is off, okay.
But I just changed, anything that said board of supervisors, I just changed the zoning.
BOA.
BOA, yes.
On this page or everywhere else?
Just right now, when I'm seeing it, I'll
Okay.
change it. But right now, for this paragraph, I just changed it.
So,
Say like Steve, whatever you're comfortable with on this.
Are you guys okay with that same time frame? Because I think it'd have some great synergy. I think that'd give me enough time to review it and the Board of Adjustment enough time.
So tell me,
Because if I got it right away and the chairman's like, yeah, we need to hear this, I will get them that stuff right away, so they'll have as much time to review it as me.
exactly.
I'll take care of the technical stuff, they'll take care of the subjective stuff.
So-
And then we can get the dates set within that 60 days, but it doesn't have to be then. I mean, we'll try to do our best, but.
so
Yeah,
leave the 60.
Because you'll get pushed by them all. I mean, the company will be pushing all the time.
and then if you wanna just add in something polite, say, please be expedient as possible,
Yeah, 60 days, but, or,
but don't drag it out,
yeah.
you jerk.
60 days.
You want the wording you think, Carol?
Yes.
Okay, here, it's right behind you. You wanna read it or you want me to read it?
Read it to me.
so we're talking 5 months for this whole thing.
No, we're talking 60 days.
No, I mean, from the time the very first, they throw an application, so then the county or have 60 days to do something with it. Then you've got, these are maximum numbers, and then you've got 30 days for a public hearing. And then their final development plan says after the public hearing, you got another 60 days. So that's 5 months.
Well, we haven't gotten down that far either, so we can change that.
Okay, Carol,
So-
within 60 days of the submission of a complete conditional use permit.
Okay, so hang on a minute, so
I wasn't sure what you had here.
I'm gonna, so you want me to put this with this?
Under public hearing or.
Oh, okay, do you want this under public hearing or under county review?
Right.
There's two separate things.
Do you wanna put them together?
Well, do we have a county review for the solar?
It just says assistance for county review. It says that you may utilize services of a third-party consultant if approved by the zoning board.
So then,
So no, we don't really have a county review section.
so we don't even have a county review right now.
And we don't have one in our current ordinance, no.
Okay,
We could probably
So-
combine those two together,
so do we
county
need,
review and public hearing.
Of course, these are worst case scenarios.
Yeah, this is as long as you can go.
Right. In other words, if you can get it solved in 30 days, everybody reviews it in 30, if
Everybody says it's good
it's good in 30 days,
as quickly as you can.
then
get
you can roll it over into the public hearing thing. You don't have to wait 30 days to do it.
Their final plans.
so can we,
Yeah.
so can we combine county review, public hearing? Can we just kind of put that together so it runs together? Would that work?
I don't think so,
You
because
don't,
that's two separate things.
But we
One
don't
is
do county
boards.
review, but we don't do county review right now, correct?
Not now.
No, but
Do we need county review? If she gets the application and she's letting the board know, that's what she's doing now. We've never called it county review.
I mean, technically, yeah, I'm looking at it in your questions,
yeah,
but
but that means it's all on her.
we can advance something.
I mean, it would still be on the zoning in either way. This would just be saying the zoning admin will provide a feedback on the ordinance
To the Board of Adjustment.
to anybody, I guess.
Everybody, yeah, it was Board of Adjustment, everybody, yeah,
Who's-
But it says county review.
county review.
Everybody's involved in it.
So
So then,
I
okay,
see what you're saying, Carol, but I think you almost need that in there yet. though.
so then do we need that in the solar thing too?
I'm
Okay.
not gonna talk about it now.
No, but I'm just,
Worry about it now.
if we're putting
putting in, they're both commercial things. So if you're saying that we need a formal in-kind review, then we're gonna have to add that. into the
Probably.
too.
Maybe we should see some more supervisors catch that. That's a subject we're gonna talk about yet, Aaron.
We should probably skip ahead to that. It's almost 8 o'clock.
Yeah, we gotta wrap it up here.
Okay, so Carol,
So what you're telling me, is that going county review or public hearing? What you're talking to me behind me, because I don't want to turn around again.
hurt your neck, I'm sorry.
Well, I just love having my back to people. Is that going under county review or is this going under public hearing?
I still think we can combine county review and public hearing and just have one section that has both that information.
So county review and public hearing.
Okay. If you're okay with that, I think that would be fine to combine those.
If you're comfortable with it, but.
I mean, otherwise-
Times are up to you.
Otherwise, it's two sections that are one paragraph.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna move this.
Do you need the wording again still for the state?
Well, yeah, because I have to figure out, and the formatting is gonna be wrong.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, so
Oh, it does, yeah.
so right now, the zoning administrators promptly provide a copy of the application supporting documents to the Tama County Board of Adjustment. The zoning administrator and Tama County Zoning Board of Adjustment shall have 60 days to review a completed application, ensure adequate information, understanding, provide comments or questions to applicant. Am I adding anything to that piece? Are we skipping down to upon completion of the county's review of the application?
That's fine. Shouldn't we leave that separate? I mean, put county review and do that paragraph, then go to public hearing and then those two paragraphs. Just
Or just-
delineate them and just, I mean, they're there. Yes,
Or
no?
just saying she could put it right behind county review and public hearing under number 6. Right, Laura?
I mean, combine it into one
You
section.
know?
Yeah.
To take,
County review / public hearing or
yeah.
whatever, and then go.
I'm just
A,
trying
B,
to,
and C.
trying to figure out.
You need one of those wheelie chairs.
Oh, I know.
We were sure better off when we sat up there up front, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
It's a health issue.
More time.
It's a health
Here,
issue.
let's
Safety.
spin the other way.
Well,
So here's what we had for solar, it says
Yeah.
within 60 days, it's initially done.
Got a little gavel happy.
So page of board shall schedule a date for public hearing regarding. the
29.
Hearing. 29.
Yeah.
Number 6.
It doesn't talk about
review.
extra time to review it, that's just included in the 60 days.
Okay. So can I just maybe make a note and think.
We're going in leaps and bounds.
Do that, because I'm starting to found it, but.
Well, that's fine, and then you guys can review if you like the wording.
Okay, thank you. All right.
So can we read through final plan submission, a number of gentlemen? That section.
That will cover. All right. Thank you, Laura.
Well, right back to that notice of application filing. People don't get the newspaper and your turn. I mean, that's what happened with this go around the first time. People don't get, there aren't any paper. No, something, some other way of posting this has to be done.
A lot of people get the newspaper online now. I've been telling spreaders. Yeah. Stop and posting how to do that today on the front page.
But how are you, sure you get the paper online, but are you gonna see
I don't know.
public notice it? I mean, do you
It has
go
to
to
be,
that?
it has to be.
Yeah, you know, I get.
No, but I mean, does the average person do that? I don't know.
And if you want to, I mean, I get the Gazette and the Des Moines Register online and I read them every day.
Yeah, and you get the Waterloo Courier
I think
and
it'll take,
Marshalltown.
Doug, I think it'll take you longer to talk about number 8 than you expect.
Right, let's just leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll take that
Stopping
next
at
time.
number 7, county review and public hearing, right?
Mhm.
Start on number 8. So that leads us to our next meeting. When do we meet again?
I was thinking a lot of you farmers might like to have an extra week off.
Yes,
To,
we're gonna be gone next week.
And then November, we've got Thanksgiving this week, so if you wanna do. Thanksgiving is the 27th, so if you wanna do,
We've got the 13th, you've got that meeting too.
Oh, we
Yeah.
didn't talk about that other stuff.
but anyway, I haven't checked with Karen, so I will have to double check with her and we'll have to check with
All right.
Wade. Say, you guys have been going really hard, so if you wanna take an extra week or whatever, take October. We could do October 29th and the November 12th, and then we'd have Thanksgiving, or you could take the rest of October, we could do the 5th and the 19th, and then that last week would be Thanksgiving.
Won't you be done with 2 more meetings? You're probably done through the same now.
And then we have other
Well,
ordinances we have to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna
We
say
have a
it.
lot of things to work on still.
I thought we were gonna be done.
we were thinking that a couple meetings back, yeah.
What about the 29th and the, well,
Would you be done farming by then?
well.
I can't predict rain that far out
Nobody
though.
can predict
I've
that.
got a question.
Joe,
Do we
you
have
have
to
to
post, do we have to post these meetings?
Yes,
And how many days do you have to do that?
it has to be 4 days before the meeting,
4 business days or 4 calendar days?
calendar days.
I'm gonna call Wade right now and see if the 29th.
Well, I was just wondering,
Or
you know, all of a sudden there's a forecast for rain.
17th.
But I need to get it to the newspaper.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, that's right, and we want
You stay away from the last weekend of October. I have parent teacher conferences.
Okay,
Sure.
so this.
So
get
you'll
out
look at the-
29th.
I would just like to not have to think about anything else,
That's
but
fine.
if you wanna do.
God bless you.
November.
Just thinking that, wait, the 5th or 12th, I mean, we could do 2 in a row, but it's a tight turnaround.
Got to do one first.
Well, if you do the 12th though,
Of
you
November.
don't wanna do the 26th, because that's the day before Thanksgiving.
So what
So,
about the week before, what's the week before?
I'll be on the 26th,
The 5th,
12th to 19th November, maybe?
or the 12th and 19th?
Everybody?
12th and 19th work.
I will have to check with Karen. I'm gonna see real quick.
Go check with her and I'll.
The
make-
12th and 19th of November.
Will do work for you, Carol, do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm done with
We're thinking
conferences.
that's November 12th and November 19th for our next 2 meetings. Wait, how does that sound? I'll give us a month and a half break almost. Yeah, those are Wednesday. Good.
Karen's good for both the 12th and the 19th.
All right, well, we're gonna plan on the 12th and 19th and hope that you can make it.
And if you can't make it, you can send notes.
All righty? All right, I'll let you go. Thanks.
The key in the field,
He's in the combine, yeah.
All right, Doug, real quick, we should touch on the other number 7.
And what dates do they have?
They have not given anything. It's up to you guys to provide your availability. They will also have to work it out with Karen or others, and that'll be on them, but if you have any absolute no's, I can tell them absolute no's.
We're waiting until November 12th and 19th for our zoning. We ought to be able to wait that long before we sit down with them with the solar, don't you think?
But that would also be holding off getting the solar to move forward. I don't know how long they would wanna meet for.
But they're gonna have questions, right?
They're gonna have, I told them to come with their questions ahead of time, you know, prepared so that we're not doing a line by line thing.
Is that another meeting that has to be posted?
Yeah.
Could a couple of us do it, or do they want the whole zoning board?
They didn't specify that they need the whole zoning board. I know when I talked to you, you're like, I'd like someone else beside me.
It's like me, yeah.
Because you thought that you might forget what some of the conversations were.
I forget what my name is.
Sprinkle my name today.
Sorry.
They would have to probably work, I don't know if
Yeah,
they have keys to the building, if they can come without Karen or not. I don't have keys to this building. We could meet at the public health building. I have keys to that. This is, I mean,
this will be during the day though, sometime, or it's gonna be,
we can tell them it needs to be at 6 if that works better for everybody. At 5 if it works better for everybody. at 10 in the morning, it works better for everyone. I know it doesn't work for
Tell
Carol.
them when it rains, we're
I
gonna
don't
have.
care.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Oh, we got rain coming Monday.
We can't post it that quick, because if we have more than 3 of you, we're going to public notice, 3 or more.
On the last week of November and the second week of December and the
Hold on,
first week of January.
Steve, you're gonna win?
I am gone the 23rd of November. I'm leaving for a week. And then I'll be gone the 7th through the 14th of December.
I don't think they wanna wait till December, so.
You know, I can do it anytime beyond that time.
Okay, okay,
How many of us do they need?
I would guess they want at least 2. The more that can come, probably, they'd be fine with, but we would have to post that if it's more than 2.
That it's a corn.
And then it's a form. But I mean, you guys, when you come, you would not need to be making decisions, you would be answering like for clarity, like
Just tell them why we made some
why you
decisions.
made some of those decisions.
Right.
If you remember what the conversations were, if you remember what the research was, if you're like, this is why we picked this instead of this.
So what date do we wanna look at? Steve?
Okay.
Are you pretty much free other than the last week in October?
Pretty much.
I mean, on an evening
Yeah,
time?
I got called for jury duty in October too, so.
Jeez.
Fun stuff.
Well, they wanted to do it the 16th or 17th of October, is that correct?
Don't remember if they
Okay,
actually,
I got the
14th,
the
17th.
16th, 17th.
that's what Karen had available. So I did check with her what her availability was, but if we need to move it to public health building, I think we could. It's just not set up for the video. If it's public meeting. So if it's 2 of us, we wouldn't have to have the,
I don't care. You do it whenever you want to.
okay.
But I'm available that 15th, 16th. I'm not the 17th.
So yeah, if the supervisors can do it without Karen being here, we could probably open it up to any other date. You only have those dates available that I sent to you guys.
Okay.
I just found out this week that it is okay if I have meetings over at public health building,
Where your office?
where my offices are. Cause they have a conference room there. I don't know the video setup though, so. We might have to just like record it like with mine and post it later. It would be a live meeting.
Well, as long as it's not all 5 of us.
15th or 16th.
15th or 16th.
You and I could do it and meet with,
Well, I'm not, no, man.
what?
We can leave the 2 of you out of it, unless you wanna be part of it.
Oh.
I do not need to be a part of it. I do not. I
I'm just thinking,
I
I
cannot.
didn't know with you guys farming, if you wanted to move it sooner.
I don't wanna have it at all. We gotta work with it.
Yeah, it is.
It is what it is.
So,
So why don't you tell them October 15th or 16th is a possibility then?
okay, because that was what Karen had to know, so that'd be here.
That was the date.
You guys, do you have any other no days besides what Steve already gave for anybody else? Cause I think Heather was thinking that only 2 of them really had any questions or, you know,
So there may be.
there might only be 2 of them also. So we could see if they're okay with the 2 and 2 thing, just to try to get some clarity.
See what they want to do.
So
It's Heather, you think, and she had some questions?
I know Heather had some, I think Dave was the other one that really had any. If they end up having more people that wanna come and have the questions, then
Fine.
they'll have to post that, but
Yep.
if it ends up only being 2 of you, I won't have to post it for us. I don't think. I'll check.
Just let me know.
Yeah, let us know.
So Steve, you're good for everything before November 23rd. Doug, you good? Unless it doesn't rain,
Nothing next week at all.
nothing next week.
Nothing the 6th to the 10th will be gone.
Nothing. October 6th through 10th. Jody? What would you be available? Any day it doesn't rain? Or it does rain, any day.
If it, yeah, I'm working with Wade Pashusta, so he lets me pretty much go 6 by 6 o'clock.
It wouldn't be too long.
No, it's not.
Okay,
He's pretty flexible.
you're pretty-
You're just flexible. 35 acres left, we're done.
Carol would not like to be involved. Okay.
No, I'm not knowledgeable enough, like, to be able to answer questions. I don't.
Oh, you're way more knowledgeable.
We've done research, but not to sit with people and go back over this with the fine tooth comb.
We can check with Wade, you guys can work out who does it if we do end up doing 2. We'll try to figure out a date. Doug can't do anything the sixth through the tenth, everybody else is pretty available.
Yeah.
Except for Karen. So, if we do need to do it at public health, I'll let you guys know for sure.
It would be great to have those some of the questions answered.
Yeah.
What's going on with this 13th?
That is for the Iowa Public Information Board training, that shouldn't take longer than 2 hours, that should take like 6 o'clock, then still 6 o'clock, and that is at the public health building.
Did you adjourn the meeting?
Nope.
No,
Then,
Now, do you wanna see if there's any public comments?
are there any public comments?
You guys are doing an excellent job. It's
Thank
too
you.
bad it's late.
I just didn't want to miss that part of the meeting, but.
I move we adjourn the meeting.
Everybody online, perfect.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. Any discussion?
Jody, was that-
Not all in favor, say aye.
It is 8:11.
That is-